Hello and welcome to Footy Judge More people. It's your counter views, and we're here to discuss the coming fixtures on the weekend, and also we'll touch on Man City versus Brentford. How does it affect their performance and their coming game against Bournemouth away? Is it a tough ground to go to, or is it going to be easy? Of course, we'll discuss Arsenal against Newcastle. Can they bounce back against Newcastle? Is the league different than the Champions League? And what is going to happen then? There's a lot of voices against Arteta and the team in the Champions League. And there's a lot of voices saying that they will smash Porto when they come to the Emirates. And we'll talk about that as well. But first, it's Newcastle. And also, we'll touch on Spurs. Will is going to be here. He's a little bit late. We'll touch on Spurs and Postecoglou. And what are the Spurs people saying now? But first, you know what you do? Hit that like button if you're here. If you're watching this in the replay, you'll like the video before you go on because you are in for a fantastic show. I'm here with a brilliant crew, of course. Your Friday guys, of course, Northside is here. Reese, Studio Hooks is here with us, and Martin is here. Will is going to be with us. Absolutely going to be here. How's everybody feeling this afternoon?
It's payday, isn't it? Payday is the best day. Payday for top gooners as well. So, yeah, it's great, man. Lovely.
It's great.
Lovely.
Happy birthday, Reese. Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, man. One year closer to the walking stick, man. 1 year closer to the walking stick. But yeah, man. We celebrate. We're gonna be doing a lot of big drinking tomorrow. Gonna be at the ground, you know. Hopefully, I don't have to watch what I watched yesterday. It was yesterday, not the day before.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Because
you're still traumatized, we know.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I've got over a lot of the frustration. I've moved on from the frustration, but there's still some lingering negative emotions. It was just a performance, really. But
yeah,
looking for better tomorrow, man.
Yeah, we'll see. And Martin, how are you doing? Happy to see you.
Yeah, fine.
Fine. Absolutely brilliant, guys. Will is gonna be here. I promise. He said he's gonna be here. He is gonna be here. And I think we'll have to start with Manchester City. And I want to start with Man City because I'm not gonna talk about the Pep press conference and all this shit. This is just past. But to be honest, I wanted to speak about Manchester City and how a lot of Man City fans, within themselves, they say they are worried. And they aren't comfortable. Pep is shifting Foden to the right, playing Alvarez, changing the lineup. They didn't look the same. Against Brentford, it was a slip. Erling Haaland, you see from the relief, how there's pressure around Man City. Do you see pressure around Martin now?
What pressure on me? Or pressure on me? I've not no pressure whatsoever.
Really?
I'm absolutely comfortable.
You don't think that Pep Guardiola is changing the lineup, Julian Alvarez? But that's not what you guys. I'm not gonna be about you. You are here representing the Man City fan base. We were speaking to LB yesterday. He's a little bit worried. Yeah, there is worry. There is worry in the camp. There is worry in the fan base.
I wouldn't say worry. I'd say concern. There's a concern about the 11 in terms of, and it's all down to one player. It's all down to the Julian Alvarez conundrum. But this was always the problem. This was always going to come. I asked this question 12 months ago. What do you do when you've got a fully fit Haaland, Foden, KDB? Now, luckily, I don't think KDB will play tomorrow. So I think it calms.
Is he injured? Is he still injured?
He's not injured. He's sort of got a niggle, as they call it, as Pep likes to call it. Pep never calls them injuries. He calls them little niggles.
So he is injured. His hamstring is bothering him.
According to Pep, he's not injured. So it depends how you look upon it.
What is, according to you, what is it?
I think he's got discomfort. I wouldn't say it's injury. He's not re-torn it and he's not re-pulled it or anything like that. You got to remember, he's had 6 months out. Mm-hmm. And, you're always going to get this when you have 6 months out and you're coming back into fitness. It's about, personally, I don't think he'll play tomorrow. You rest him now for the March fixtures coming up. But, I mean, I get it. The thing is with me, again, I said it to you, we're winning games playing in third gear.
But you haven't hit fourth gear
No,
yet.
That's my point. So when we hit fourth gear and we won 12 out of 13, Because we've only drawn one. This is my thing on this meltdown. We've drawn one game in 13 in all comps.
Yeah,
Not a bad
for
record
sure.
being in
Listen, to be
38.
honest, I'm watching the City team, and I keep saying there's only like 13 games left for you, or something.
Someone's going to get a good hiding at some point. Because you go back to Brentford, go back to Chelsea. They were missed chances.
Yeah.
One game, those chances are going in the back of the net, and someone's going to be on the end of 5 or 6.
I think it'll be Bournemouth.
No, but
And
hold
it's whoever
on,
gets
hold
on the
on,
end of
hold on. Brentford had 2 1-on-1s before you scored.
But
Your defense is not worrying at all. It's not like, listen, I'm watching the City team.
Mhm.
You're literally conceding chances every game now.
I've said this to I think every team is this year.
Not Arsenal.
But there's things that they can do though. There's things that they can do to help that. Why not put Foden or Bernardo through the middle? Why not introduce Stones maybe into the midfield with Rodri to help the defensive work?
John Stones in Birch, and he can't play 3 games in a week. That's the problem with John Stones.
Well, this is the problem. But you can still put Kovacic. Maybe put Kovacic next to Rodri.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Northside. He doesn't trust them enough.
But
That's
there's
what
things that they can
everybody's
do.
talking about, though.
But Mo, they've had games, yeah, where they've had Foden through the middle or Bernardo through the middle in the 10, and then they've played Kovacic next to Rodri, and they looked a lot better than what they're doing right now. Yes, they're still conceding chances, but you're going to have to help Rodri in the midfield because he's not helping the defense. You know, you can still add on the left-hand side, add Doku to give you width. You can put Foden outright to give you width, Bernardo through the middle, because I think Bernardo's a bit slower in terms of pace than Foden. You know, maybe you do need to drop Haaland and use him as an impact sub. I know he's Haaland, but he's missing chances. But then again, Alvarez isn't playing that well. You either play to Haaland's strengths or you don't. But if you're going to make Alvarez accountable for his performances, Haaland also needs to bag chances. I know he scored against.
Yeah, there's a big difference though. You got last week, his grandma died. He was spent the week in Norway for 3 days.
Who? Haaland.
Haaland, his grandmother died. Now I know when my grandma dies, I'm not sat there playing the best I can get to.
Well, then maybe use him as a sub. Don't put the pressure of the whole game. Maybe
it was left down to Haaland. It was Haaland's decision whether he played against Chelsea. So that was probably down to Haaland. It was his decision and what emotional state he was in. That's why Pep said he's had 2 months out injured. People forget this. He's been back 2 weeks. That's why Pep Guardiola made the point of it. He's been out for 2 months. He's been through the week from hell, and everyone's having a go at him.
Would you be happy with Rodri, a midfield of Rodri, Stones, and then Bernardo as a 10?
No, but Bernardo's not a 10.
But he's played there. He's played there for you.
Never
Didn't he play in that?
No, Bernardo's not a 10. He's a number 8.
Didn't he play that against? Was it Newcastle when you played Newcastle? Hold on a sec. Was it Newcastle that he played as a 10?
No.
Do you not think he's got like at least the technical capabilities?
No, Bernardo Silva is not a 10. As long as I've got a hole in my ass, Bernardo Silva's not a 10. Never been a 10.
When you won 3-2 against Newcastle, he played as a 10.
Mm-hmm. No, he didn't.
Okay, one football's wrong.
I could promise you I'll watch it week in can't wait. Bernardo Silva's not a 10. He's not a 10. The
Okay,
guy's the right
you can
wing.
play Foden through there. Okay, you can play Foden through there.
Yeah,
And
we
then
should be
Bernardo on
doing
the wing.
I'm not Foden, yeah. Got a debate on 100%. Foden's wasted on the right wing.
And you know what? Foden was getting a lot of praise that when you got an injury to KDB, that he was stepping up and he was doing the business. So why can't he play through the middle?
The problem was, it was Alvarez stepping up. Alvarez was the guy doing the 10 role. Phil Foden only came into that 10 role in the last 3 weeks because we were all crying out going, because he was still stuck out on the wing. When KDB was out injured, it was Julian Alvarez who was doing the 10 role. Because Julian Alvarez did so well in that 10 role at the time, yeah, he had a dodgy first touch, he had this, but he basically was helping us get through games, Alvarez, at the time.
Yeah.
Then after because he played him in the Crystal Palace game in the draw, but Phil Foden had gave the ball away, and Pep came out and said he's got to learn to be more controlled. He's got to learn when to release the ball, when to keep the ball. And then, because Phil Foden came out and said, I had a chat with Pep and I got it. And he's made no secret. He's always wanted to play midfield. So from Crystal Palace onwards, which was only 6, 7, 8 games back, that's when he went into the midfield. But then when KDB then came back, he got for the last 2 or 3 games, he's bounced back to the right wing again.
Do you know what the problem with Foden is in my eyes? And people are not going to like this. Man City fans aren't going to like this. Is that he only can play in the midfield in a team like Pep's team. The hard work that in the modern era, Foden is fantastic going forward. He's one of the best. He's absolutely brilliant. But he only can play that with a wall behind him or people to work hard for him defensively. Or a team like Man City that don't concede a lot of the ball. Even at Arsenal, the midfielders are asked to do both aspects of the game. This is the criticism of Kai Havertz, the criticism of a lot of the eights that play for Arsenal. Even Odegaard this year, we see him dropping deep. We see him working harder. Phil Foden, if he plays in the middle, he will work brilliantly at City. Because City don't concede through the middle a lot, even though we said this year you concede chances. But normally, you can afford to have KDB and Foden in the middle. But when I'm not sure who you're going to get when Pep leaves. But if Foden stays to play in the middle, there is no coach in the world that play 2 attacking midfielders with very little defensive attributes through the middle around the DM. That doesn't happen. Arteta, when he's doing it, right? Odegaard is asked to drop deep. He's really controlling the ball. He's literally copying Pep. Not a lot of coaches will do that. A lot of teams around the world will ask the midfielder to do some work defensively. This is how I view Phil Foden. If you play in City, well, I don't know if Pep Guardiola is going to stay. If Pep Guardiola stays 3, 4, 5 years, you're fine. You'll be brilliant in the middle.
He's definitely going to sign an extension. How long that extension will be, I don't know, but he will sign it.
I know that. I think that he's going to stay another 2 years. I think so. That's what
he'll get to a minimum of 10. He wants to do the 10 years.
My point about Foden is that if your coach isn't playing you in the middle, you're almost 24 years old. Yes, you stay at City, you win trophies and all of this. But again, I'm going to repeat that again, and we had this argument.
I know where you're
His coach needs to play him in the middle. Yep. Why you are shoehorning Alvarez behind the striker where it's not working? It's not working.
No, I agree with that. By the way, you'd have to get Phil Foden out kicking and screaming out there. Phil Foden's going no. Honestly, you'd have to get him out kicking and screaming. He's a boyhood bloke. He's been there since he was 5 years old. The guy will never leave.
I've seen it many times.
No, he won't. Trust me. No, he'll never leave.
But surely it comes to a point where you want to play, you're not able to play, so you have to start looking.
You're not able to play your
football. He is playing. He scored 14 goals.
You aren't playing your football. You are getting
12 goals. What's this? He's not playing. He's having his best ever season.
You're right. You're right. You are not playing your best football some games, Martin. Okay, so let's just be. I swear, this is not an agenda. This is nothing. Okay, you are not.
He's having literally his best ever season, by the way.
The best ever season, Martin. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. Okay, where is Foden's best position?
Number 10.
When he plays to the side, does that hinder a little bit his abilities?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
Okay, he played 14 games in the middle, and the rest on the side. Don't you think that for more than half the season now, Phil Foden is being shifted to a place where he isn't comfortable, or he doesn't want to play, or he doesn't show his best abilities? Is that fair to say? Is that fair to say?
The not comfortable part, I wouldn't say.
Forget the comfortable part. The player is going to play anywhere. He isn't showing his best.
The problem is you got Mo, and you are right.
You are defending him very. I know what you're doing, but I'm trying to reach a conclusion.
Right with the manager's point. I'm about to agree with you. Shock horror. You are right with the manager's point, because no other manager has players so versatile as what we have.
Yes.
You look at our signings. We buy signings. That's why Calvin Phillips was a strange one. Calvin Phillips can play one position, CDM, nowhere else. You look at all our other signings, they can play 2, 3 different positions. That's why we get away with a smaller squad than everyone else, because we have players who, when a player goes down injured, It's not a crisis so much because they can go. Somebody else can go over there and fill in, and you think, what's he doing there? Well, he's versatile. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's why when you look, they're after a Paqueta, they're after a Kimmich. Versatility can play 2 or 3 different positions. There's method behind the madness, believe it or not. But I agree. Foden's been on record and said he wants to play midfield, 100%. But I don't think the problem is Alvarez, and it's not it's a nice problem to have, but it's what you do with it. I don't know what Pep's going to do with that one. It is a crazy one, but I wouldn't say. I mean, you said Brentford, they had 2. It was 2 balls over the top. Brentford had a decent 10 minutes and then stuck 3 buses across the back of the Etihad and never moved from there on in. You got to remember, teams will play very different against us than they will against other football teams, especially at the Etihad. You watched Brentford against Liverpool last weekend. Very different Brentford.
Yeah, but teams play different. Teams play different, of course. That's
it came to the Etihad. It was like, what the? It was like, my God, what you doing? And it's difficult. It is hard. And then what you got to do is Haaland's got to come back into the midfield to get the ball because he's not getting it, which he did very well, by the way. So, and this is the problem. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Is Foden more creative through the middle or on the wing?
Oh, definitely through the middle, but he can create on the wing.
Right. So
I think
you've got a striker that is not going to link up play, is not going to be creative. You know, the only way to get the most out of him is by giving him service. Play Foden through the middle, play Bernardo through the wing, as you don't see him as a number 10. And then in Bernardo's position when he was next to Rodri, play somebody that can help Rodri defend. And all of a sudden, you've now, listen, 2 birds, 1 stone. Because you make yourself more solid, so that takes away the argument that you're leaking goals and you're
can I practice leaking goals argument?
you are giving away a lot of chances. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Are we leaking goals or are we conceding chances? Which one is it?
Well, you're conceding chances, and some of them are leading to goals.
Yeah. By the way, we're 3 goals behind you. So are you leaking goals?
Did I say Arsenal are amazing? I'm talking about.
No. The point I'm making. No, hang on. Let me explain. The point I'm making is we've conceded 1 more goal than Liverpool. This same debate is not going out for you or Liverpool, but it is on us. So this debate's becoming really.
But I never said anything.
On this defense stuff.
I never said that Arsenal don't need to work on their defense because we lost 1-0 against Porto.
You know
I'm just only talking about Man City.
Teams are braver in the Premier League now. They're a lot braver.
Okay. No, I think you're seeing it. I think Martin, you're seeing it from the wrong perspective. I'm sorry, with all due respect. Here's the difference. If you're conceding 3 goals more than them, that's a testament to how good they are and how bad Man City are. I'm going to tell you why. It's all about expectations.
Oh, don't. We had this debate last night and it turned into World War III on expectations.
I'm going to tell you how people see it from outside. I'm seeing it from outside.
Want the treble.
Yes, you have the best manager in the world. Yep. You spend money. You have probably, you're the only team out of all of them that has actually depth in your center back position, and a good depth. I'm not saying Akanji is the same as Van Dijk, and that's a testament to how good City are. You guys take it the other way. You guys think about it that we're having a dig at City. It's actually the other way around. It's the other way around. I'm actually thinking
City are looked at on a different.
You should be looked at a different level. You should be.
Yes.
The manager, the spending in the summer, the structure of the club, the winnings that you had last year, all of this, we should be assessing you on a different level than the novice Arteta. Someone who has only 2 center backs.
You also spent the same amount of money.
No, but you're stuck on one point. You're stuck on one point.
We're just talking about how we can have solutions to certain problems. Listen, a manager should never be. I get that you love Pep, and I rate Pep. Yeah, that's why I'm so harsh on Arteta, because I don't think he's nowhere near the level. Yeah, but it's okay to be critiquing your manager because there's sometimes they do get it wrong, or sometimes there
I
is
have
room for
done.
improvement. No one's
I
saying
have-
you're
I
bad.
have
No one's saying that you're
criticised.
still not favourites. No one's saying none of that. We're just
No,
saying
I
that
have
against Chelsea,
critiqued
you
them.
conceded a lot of chances and you got opened up a lot of times, and it was more down to them not being effective enough in the final third than you nullifying them. They were given way too many chances against you when you drew
Oh,
against
did we
Chelsea.
have
Yes or
31
no?
chances against Chelsea?
Bro,
You've just contradicted yourself. You just sat there and went, it was more down to them not taking chances. Same could be said for us then.
yeah, you opened up, they got in behind, you weren't defending properly, but they didn't bury you with those chances, but you still gave them away. Against the more effective front three, you're going to concede more goals. How's that crazy to
I
say?
understand that, but when our strikers are on form, we're going to bury 6-7.
I know,
We're
but
having
how long did you...
31 chances a game.
Okay. Listen, we're just talking about room for improvement. No one said that you're crap. Like, it's very defensive right now.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's worrying?
We're just saying that you conceded a lot of chances. I didn't expect you to concede those kind of chances to a Chelsea team that I don't
We're
really
playing
rate.
very different this season. We're playing a wing-back system this season.
Are you
Very,
more
very
convinced by
different.
this new system?
I don't like it. I'd rather go back to last season's traditional back four. But Pep wants to do Walker and, well, was doing Walker and Gabardio as fullbacks. Well, flying wingers. Personally, not my opinion, but not my cup of tea, but it's up to Pep. Listen, I've criticised Pep this year. I did it last week. I didn't think it worked with a Kanji in midfield, but that was because John Stones can't play 3 games in a week because he's made out of glass at the moment. You've got a Kanji's doesn't work. Alvarez doesn't work. Trying to shoehorn Alvarez with Foden, KDB doesn't work because Haaland then doesn't know where to feed from. It's a simple thing.
Martin, you keep telling us problems. I criticize this, and when we start saying anything, you're not taking it from anyone else, Martin.
The point is, Mo, and I understand it. It's heightened 1,000% when it's City compared to other football clubs.
Of course,
it's highlighted 1,000%.
Actually, no. The team that gets the most stick in criticism this season is Arsenal.
Yep.
Everything is with a magnifying glass. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but that's part of being a top team, though.
Exactly.
You have to welcome that pressure. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans, I get onto them, yeah, because they're so sensitive. Oh, why is everyone on us? If you're a big team and you're expected to win major honors and you want to be in the conversations for major honors, it comes with pressure and it comes with critique. You got to rise above that. No one here sat here and said that your team is rubbish. No one here said that you guys can't win the league. I've still said that you're the favorites for the league, in my opinion, but there's areas that need to be fixed. Pep's got it wrong before. It's not. He's got it wrong before in the Champions League. He corrected it. You won a treble. You know, no manager's perfect, but your manager's still a top manager. You've just sat there and said, oh, you're not convinced with this wing-back system. Do you know what I mean? I don't go for this because this is what happened with my club. I'm not saying that Pep's on the decline, but I remember when there was things that Wenger was getting wrong and the fan base loved Wenger so much they didn't want to call it out. And I think fans always have to have a balance. Doesn't mean that your manager's rubbish. Doesn't mean that he's not going to win the league. But you're able to critique things that you're not so convinced on or you want to improve.
Of course, Cam. Pep will always get more leeway, though, because of what he's done. Pep will get more leeway with City fans more than anyone because of what he's ever done.
Probably, but I still think it's a major L that you just don't always play Foden in the middle. Like, whenever I see him on the right.
Yes, Foden to Arsenal, it started here on Footy Judge Mo.
Foden at Arsenal would be beautiful.
I said it, Foden to Arsenal.
What about FFP? What about FFP? It's coming in the summer. It's coming in the summer. Arsenal.
I actually rate Foden.
You're looking about 200 million to get Phil Foden out.
I actually rate Foden highly. My problem is
he's a baller.
I need to see Foden playing the same place week in, week out, being not one of the guys, being the outstanding player, like Kevin De Bruyne, like Rodri. Like even 1 year, I think Mahrez was like the go-to guy. This is what I need Foden to be. And that's what I want to see Foden do every week. But he isn't. He has it 1 week, yes, 1 week, no. 2 weeks, yes, 1 week, no. And it's not down to him. It's not his problem. It's his coach. He's not doing that. Because Pep Guardiola, the show is about him. It's not about anyone else. That's what Man City fans,
He's still only 23, by the way.
which is, I get it.
No, this is the
23.
follow because he's been on the scene since
Vinny-
he's 17.
Vinny Jr. is 22,
No, I know what you said. Kevin De Bruyne at 23 was not the Kevin De Bruyne he is right now.
but Vinny Jr. at 22 is Vinny Jr. Are they in the same conversation, Vinny Jr. and Phil Foden? People in the chat, yes or no, please, in the chat. Is Foden in the same conversation with Vinny Jr.? Even though maybe Phil Foden won more trophies. I guarantee you that Phil Foden won more trophies, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but
they in the
Vinny's
same-
way more relied on than Foden.
Yeah.
But that's
He's way
it.
more
You see
reliable.
that? That's it. That's it. He's the go-to. He's the go-to guy.
Yeah. And then what happens if you
Even
do
with,
go
by
on-
the way, I'm gonna respect. Even with Modric, Camavinga, Toni Kroos, you know what I mean?
Mm.
He is the go-to guy.
Mm.
That's what I want.
And he delivers as the go-to guy. So that's the difference. You know, I'm not saying Foden doesn't deliver, but Foden isn't pivotal.
He's one
to
of the guys. You know, he's
He's
one
not.
of
He's
the
not.
guys.
And I like Foden.
He's
He's
been our
taking
player of the
it-
season. I don't know what you're watching. He's been our player of the season.
Yeah,
It's like
because-
comparing Edu to Patrick Vieira. Edu was doing a job and was helping, but
I don't.
Vieira was pivotal.
You
Oh.
think? Okay, you know what the problem is,
Phil
Martin?
Foden is
Man City,
pivotal.
I'm
He's
gonna
been our
say it,
player of the
Martin.
season.
Foden's a
I'm
baller,
gonna
though.
let you. I'm gonna let you, Martin. I'm gonna let you respond. But you know what the problem is? To be honest, Man City fans, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, Inter fans, Juventus fans were very sensitive. I am seeing it from outside, from the perspective outside. Foden has played 14 games in the middle where he shined. He played about 13 games or something like this on the side, including Champions League or 14 games. He didn't stink up the place when he played on the side. Probably like 6-7 games, he was amazing from the side. I remember he had 2 assists and 1 goal playing on the wing. But looking at it from outside, I'm like, I see a player who is shining in a position, being brilliant in a position, being the media talk in a position, playing there 1 week, and the next week playing to the side to shoehorn someone else. I'm not criticizing the player personally, but we have to talk about it. It's if tomorrow Saka his manager decided to play him as a left back and he isn't performing very well, or as a midfielder and he isn't performing very well, might not be his problem, but we'll have to talk about it because we think this guy is talented.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But Man City fans, which is Arsenal fans, do the same for Saka. When we talk about it, people get very defensive.
No, it's not defensive. He's having his best ever season, Mo. Ask any City
But
fan,
you're still
and
not.
they'll
Okay,
put him
but
up
you're
there.
still not happy with him playing on the side.
It's not, but it's not his choice. That's up to Pep.
And
But
that's
the
where I
point
think
is, Mo,
that's where I think the problem
statistically,
comes.
He's scoring the most goals and the most assists he's ever done. Ever done.
But that will naturally happen though, right? You know, because you get more experience as you go on.
No, the
That's
guy
what
is a
comes up.
main cog this year. Go back to the Newcastle 1-0 win, our first home game of the season. He ran the show. He destroyed Newcastle on his own. He had the ball on a string, and that was off the right
in the
wing.
middle.
In the middle,
off the
yeah.
right wing. So he can do it off the right wing because the trouble is he's not a right. When we say right wing, people are thinking right wing. He comes inside straight away. That's what he does. So he naturally comes.
That's
back
what he did
off
in the
middle
Brentford game,
anyway.
right? The Brentford game, his heat
Yeah,
map was
he
way
naturally-
inside.
Well, him and Alvarez kept swapping, which was very weird because
Yeah.
Alvarez then pissed off to the right in some parts of the game as well. But it's really weird because, and this is where it doesn't work with the Alvarez thing, because Foden won't stay wide and he naturally comes inside into the midfield, you're then going into traffic.
Yeah.
So that's where it doesn't work. Because like I said, so that's why Foden can still pull in what he does from the right because he just comes in anyway.
Yeah.
Pep, he just ignores Pep and goes bollocks because trouble is we don't do wingers. Like Arsenal have Martinelli and Saka, we don't have wingers in that essence.
Yeah, even
100%.
Grealish likes to go centrally as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't do that sort of wing play. We're not Sane Sterling anymore. Sane
you got-
Sterling,
you got
get on the-
Doku though, Doku does
Yeah,
that.
Doku's a winger.
doesn't work, but even he's changing now because on watch the Brentford game back. when he came on,
Mm.
even he was holding the ball up and going backwards with it. Because
But
there was
then
one
what's the point
time,
is, I thought that's why he signed him, to stretch play and run
Yeah.
down the channels.
yeah, but the trouble is 90% of our squad can't keep up with him. There was a get on Tuesday night, kid you not, he goes down the wing when he comes on, looks up, beats his man, looks up and goes, nobody here. Nobody with me. Because they're all drunk. Because the trouble is, you look at our players, other than Haaland, there's no quick person. So what he'll do is he'll change Doku. But he's got his pace there if he needs a plan B.
Wouldn't Foden solve that though?
No.
If he played in the middle.
Yeah, but
I mean, he's not the quickest, but he's fairly quick.
The problem is, what do you do? Again, we're always back to the same problem. You don't play Alvarez, he's back to the bench. And he knows he's number 2 for Haaland, which means then you're back in it. This is why Gabriel Jesus left. Gabriel Jesus got banged out to the right wing because he was not going to play striker. And then in the end, he went from striker to right wing to exit door.
What would be satisfying for you this season, Martin, as a City fan, in terms of trophies?
Satisfying for me.
Yeah.
As in what? Winning stuff?
Yes.
What do the 4P? Desperate for that. Anything else is a bonus.
You want to do the 4P?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Do you think you're still favorites to win the league?
Yeah, because of the experience.
All right, then. Listen, I want to move on to Arsenal versus Newcastle. And I got a couple questions. People in the chat. We have about 300 people here, and we aren't even on 150 likes. So hit that like button, people. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to it. But like the video, people. It's underneath your live chat. Come on, people. We can get to 150 likes easily. It's not going to cost you a penny, but it helps the channel massively, massively. Arsenal, though, can they bounce back against Newcastle? I think that's what people are worried about. That's what people are worried about. The Newcastle game, it's at home. You need to win it to keep up. LB said yesterday on the show with Osam that if Arsenal lose the point, they're out of the title race. You are at home. How do you guys see the game? Are anybody worried about the Newcastle game at home at all?
I have slight worries. Only because Newcastle is a team that likes to do shithousery, just like what Porto did, and we clearly couldn't handle it going up against Porto. So how will we deal with it against Newcastle? I don't know how I don't know how the Porto game has affected certain players' mental states, because it was truly just a really poor performance. However, we do have a fairly good history against Newcastle playing at home, so maybe that will work in our favor. We have been really good at home this season, so again, maybe that works in our favor. Newcastle have a few of their key players out, so who knows? But yeah, we do need to bounce back, and I don't think we can afford to draw this game. I think we have to go for the win. We have to get 3 points, and if we don't get the 3 points, it's going to be really difficult to see any outcome where Arsenal finish top of the table, because boy, Liverpool just look supreme. Man City is just Man City, right? It doesn't really matter how many chances they concede or how many games they look poor, because they just got the quality to kill a team at any point in the game. And yeah, I mean, Arsenal is the only team in this title race that cannot afford any slip-ups. And that puts us in a very bad position, because we don't really have the squad depth, and we still have quite a few inexperienced players in a title race. So yeah, I mean,
you know what? I was speaking about like 2-3 weeks ago, and I said to people that if you play Wednesday, Saturday, and you don't have the squad depth, it's gonna show. Yeah. For example, now you played Porto, you made one sub, which is you sub Trossard, who's not actually a starter for Arsenal. You played Jorginho in the 70th minute, if I'm not mistaken. You'll have to put in the same exact lineup against Newcastle 72 hours later, after traveling away to Portugal, right? Playing in a very hostile environment. You're going to play a very physical Newcastle team. I'm not fueling the fire, but now you can see what a depth should do to you.
Yeah.
Now, in this game, you should have adequate substitutions. You should not have the same exact 11 because we are all expecting the same exact 11 against Newcastle, aren't we? We're all here. There is not going to be a change, right? Nobody. There's nobody to come in. Dinchenko's still injured. There's no one. Right?
Unless they might make the bench.
Who?
But yeah, maybe. Well, Arteta spoke pretty positively about players coming back.
Who?
Zinchenko, Partey's not too far away. Jesus is not too far away.
This is too far away.
Yeah. I know.
Wednesday and Saturday.
I know.
Making it again.
I'm being
this
optimistic.
Saturday.
I'm being optimistic.
No, you aren't being optimistic. You are stretching the truth. You know what it is?
That was my club, your club. Who's next? Who's stretching the truth?
You're stretching the truth. It's like they aren't far away. Can they play Saturday?
Yeah,
this
probably
is
not.
The situation.
Maybe Vieira. He was on the bench against Porto. Maybe Vieira. It's a.
My
an
problem
option.
with Arsenal fans is that before the season, Fabio Vieira wasn't good enough to play for Arsenal anymore. Sell the guy, loan the guy. And I'm not echoing what Northside said. I'm telling you, by the way, in the summer, I didn't. By the way, just for people to know, I didn't do shows in the summer with Northside. We only started doing shows, by the way, in
That's
November.
a lie. Get the evidence.
In November, we weren't doing shows in the summer, right? But in the summer, every Arsenal fan we spoke to, no, Fabio Vieira isn't good enough. He played, he came off the bench. I can't remember which game where he turned the game around. 1 half, 45 minutes. I can't remember which game in the beginning of the season. Fulham, 2-2. Yeah. Fulham, 2-2. Right? And people said, yeah, this kid is good. And then he played again, and people said he's so weak, toothpicks, you cannot play in the Premier League, blah, blah, blah. And now people are saying maybe he can play Fabio Vieira against a very physical Newcastle team. Which one is it?
I just said he's an option to add in a bit of flavor, a bit of difference. Maybe something that Newcastle not expecting because he hasn't played in so long. But I've never seen Vieira as a starter anyway. But yeah, our bench against Porto was so demoralizing that I guess I have to stretch the truth a bit to kind of gas myself up, because if we go in with the same squad, it is going to be difficult. So yeah, we probably will start the same 11, just hoping that the same 11 can play how they've been playing in the Premier League and not how they played in the Champions League, to put it simply.
Yeah. Well, what do you say, Northside? But I don't want you to say, how do you think he should fix it? Not fix it.
It's not down to me. I don't trust this process. I don't know why you're asking me. I'm toxic and negative. All I will say is this.
Forget that.
No. All I will say is this. Do you remember, Mo? Do you remember, yeah? Do you remember the last time I was on the show, and because we won a couple of games, I kept saying, the bench ain't been resolved. We didn't get a striker. What were the comments saying to me? You're being toxic and negative. You just want to be like Lee Gunner.
But you were good, bro. You were good in the last 5 games.
Hold on, I'm replying. Yeah, I'm replying. Because people told me I'm toxic and negative. No. I must reply. We must. Today we have time. We must. Yeah? When I said that the bench hasn't been relied on, and I said that we're winning games despite of the bench, which we beat Burnley despite of the bench, we beat West Ham despite of the bench, we're winning games despite Kai Havertz dropping average performances. Look what happened. Look what happened. Yeah? But I was just being negative. No, I can see where our deficiencies are, and they've not been strengthened. So this is what you get. When I told people we still struggle against low blocks. Oh, but we beat West Ham. Filhos da puta. We got outdone by Porto. But man, when a reference to me, oh, but we undid West Ham's.
But that has nothing to do with the league, though.
No. Because this is the problem. The problem
no, I'm not buying it.
I said it. Calma.
No, I'm not buying it.
When I was saying it, because we were winning, Oh, I'm being negative. I'm being toxic. I've been telling man that we do not have a plan B. And man was saying, oh, but look at the way we're playing. Look how many goals. Okay, cool. This team only plays well when the system works. Porto nullified our system. We got put on our ass.
Do you think
And it's
Newcastle can do
in the
what
league as well. We lost 2-0 against West Ham before we smashed them. We have been nullified already this season. And I've been saying we don't have the answer. Why? Because the bench ain't good enough. And you know how the bench ain't good enough? This manager that decided to either extend extensions of their contracts or bring these players to our club, yeah? When we are 0-0, 74th minute, he's only bringing on Jorginho. So that tells you everything that this manager thinks about this bench. Yeah, don't take my opinion. Your manager, with your process, doesn't rate the bench. All these players that you're telling me can do a job, why didn't they come on? Everyone dropped a stinker against Porto. You're telling me Fabi Vieira can't come on as an impact sub. I actually think he's more effective coming off the bench than he is when he starts. Like Mo correctly said at the start of the season, when he come off as an impact sub, he got us some goals. Why didn't he come off the bench? You brought him. Reece Nelson, why can't he get a game? Starboy was stinking. Starboy was stinking it up. He might have this Usain Bolt trim, yeah, looking like the Ghanaian Sonic, but he was Uma Pukaria. Why is Reece Nelson not getting any time? Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Because he isn't good. Because he isn't good.
Because this manager wants to bring on these substitutions when the job is done against Burnley, when the job is done against West Ham. So none of this bench can affect the game if we're losing. This filo da puta manager, Arteta, the flipping B-Tech Enrique Iglesias, this manager is a bum. And I've been telling these filo da puta, and they're not going to listen yet until we're out of all these competitions. We had fullbacks that were, oh, Ben White, he's inverting lately. Yeah? Wasn't effective. Why didn't you bring on Cedric to stretch play? Bring Saka.
Please, no, man. No, please.
This manager kept Cedric.
No, please, man. I'd rather lose than see Cedric.
No. The point that you're missing, yeah? I don't rate none of this bench. But they can come on to do a job because everyone dropped a stinker against Porto. Fabi Vieira coming off as a sub may do something, may not. But Odegaard was stinking it up. He should have been subbed.
It was a bit risky,
Saka
though.
was dropping a stinker. Whether of course he's light years ahead of Reece Nelson. Bring him on though. Saka's dropping a stinker.
Yeah.
Why are you not bringing Cedric? Cedric, he can run down the channels. So he can release Saka. Saka was looking for Odegaard. Odegaard was congested in the middle. Saka then started going inverted into the traffic in the middle. No one's running down that right-hand side. Bring on Cedric to do that job. He will be way more effective.
I agree.
Nketiah, Trossard was dropping an absolute stinker. Start
Cedric.
Bring Nketiah on. The thing is, he's assembled. This is the problem. He's assembled this squad. He's deemed this squad what he wants. He's extended contracts or brought them here. So it's down to this filo da puta to use them. He kept ESR instead of selling them when clubs are interested. Bring him on. What was Kai Havertz doing? Why did he get to see 90 minutes? Explain to me what that filo da puta did, bro. Looking at the German Shaggy, bro. What did that filo da merda do, bro? Getting the invisibility cloak once again from Harry Potter, going missing. Yeah? But it's okay. Super Mick Arteta knows exactly what we need. Why didn't this filo da puta, the flipping Arteta Iglesias, why don't you go back to plan B? Yeah? And people telling me about controlled football. Oh, they played like Burnley. They played like Burnley. You finished that puta, the biggest hypocrites. When we play like that against Man City, you man call it a masterclass. When Burnley do it, when Porto are playing like Burnley, yeah, this whole new narrative of new football. Oh, we're playing controlled football. We're playing controlled football. That's basically doing what Porto does.
Hold on.
Make yourself rigid. Don't concede chances. And then transition quickly when you get the opportunity. When it's Arsenal, it's controlled football. When it's Porto doing it, it's like Burnley. I'm telling you right now, Northside, aka Mr. Receipts, end of the season, you man are getting cooked. We ain't winning nothing. This bench is trash. And when you told me that I was toxic and negative for calling it out, trust your process. Trust your process.
All right. I take it you think Arsenal are going to win the league?
No, we ain't winning the league. And I'll be proven right. And I'm going to make an apology box.
All right.
And I'm going to stick it right there.
Okay.
Champions League double.
Okay, let me just
the most delusional fan base in all of football. The most delusional Filus da puta in all of football, bro. And don't worry though, I'm gonna keep smoking.
Let me unpack what you said. Okay, number one, I treat the Champions League as a completely different competition than the league. For two reasons. For two reasons. And hear me out here before people get upset in the chat and stuff. In the Champions League, a manager is novice. He doesn't know how to do it. Conceição schooled him. Conceição literally got the plan that will work against Arsenal. He watched Arsenal, he got the plan. That's what you get in the Champions League. Shithousery, completely different. Pep Guardiola spent 7 years at Man City with arguably some of the best teams before he won it, because he was learning how to treat City team in the Champions League. He changed the philosophy he played football last season. That's why he got over the line. Your manager has, in the last 5 games in the league, has been amazing. Your team has been absolutely great in the last 5 games. There is no denying that. They changed the way they play. You yourself, Northside, said that. You said that the team was very direct, was different, and that's what you wanted to see. It's the Arsenal of last season. Well, he went to the Champions League. He doesn't have the experience. He just doesn't. Your board knew this. Everyone knew this. Apparently, you guys are the only ones who don't know this and expecting him to go rolling in the Champions League and do the same thing he does in the league. It's a different sport. I think LB, we were talking yesterday about it, and LB was saying as well, and I agree with him. The Champions League is completely different sport. The way you face teams is different. I'm not going to blame Arteta for this. He is new, he's inexperienced, and I still think Arsenal can go through. I'm giving Porto a chance, of course, because they can shit their house into a 1-1 or something. But Arsenal, some of these players never played in the Champions League, never took the center stage in the Champions League, never been relied on in the Champions League. By the way, even Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, the people that say they were never the main pieces at Man City. There was way more experienced players there, and there is a manager that has won trebles before. That's what people don't understand about Arsenal. Arsenal team in the Champions League are novice, amateurs, kids, kindergarten kids. It's different. There shouldn't be any expectation. There should be expectations to get past Porto. Porto completely nullified you in the first round. That was something that is expected. Arsenal fans didn't see it. Arsenal fans didn't know it. Arsenal fans, some of them, so that you'll go roll Porto, and Porto will open up against you and stuff. Even
This
if they
is
opened
what
up.
we had to learn, Mo. We had to learn this for 10 years.
Exactly. People
Oh,
don't
there
realize
you
this,
go.
bro.
You
They
look at
don't.
Porto, because I was saying, I honestly, I thought Arsenal would beat Porto. But what I saw was a Porto side who play a very different way in the Portuguese league than what they did on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Completely different way. Well, what Porto did on Wednesday night was complete shithousery and turned around and did a Brentford.
Oh,
And went, you know what? But you know what? It was clever.
Yeah.
It was
They create the
very
game.
clever. And that's what wins you Champions Leagues. It is not, I've said this for ages now. Sexy football does not win you the Champions League. Sexy football doesn't win you anything in Europe, because the problem is in Europe, you can play the sexy football, score a goal, but 30 seconds later, be out of it completely before you've even spun. And that's what we have to learn for 10 years.
Yeah, Arsenal want to bypass this now, Martin. By the way, more likely than not, Arsenal will get past Porto. More likely than not. I wouldn't put my money on Porto winning the tie, right? But this is just a lesson for people that it's new. You need to learn. Well, the question is, does that affect the league? You are still the same team in the league. Man City were winning the league, but losing in the Champions League.
Yeah, but we have to still play the same starting 11, Mo. This is the problem.
That's
and this
it.
Is why,
so
and this
that's
is
the
why
criticism. That's the criticism.
So it's
The
a squad
criticism
depth.
about that. But that's a different thing. That's a different thing, that he has to play the same 11, which is why I started this by asking, how is this going to affect the league? And it comes down to, well, Saka played 90 minutes, Odegaard played 90 minutes, Saliba, Gabriel, Martinelli played 90 minutes. They might have to play 90 minutes against a physical, tough Newcastle on Saturday, not Sunday. for
And this is
whatever
the
reason.
problem with having a bench of players that people tell me can do a job. When you're going for the title, it's not good enough just to do a job. You now need to pick up 3 points. We're at a stage in the season now that it's 3 points, bro. You can't be playing for the draw. We have to capitalize. Liverpool have injuries. We must capitalize. Man City are still Man City, but they are conceding a couple of chances. We need to, if they do drop points, we need to capitalize. Putting in players that can do a job, is it going to get you 3 points? It might get you a draw. A draw is not good enough when you're
No, you
looking
have to win. No,
major
you have to win. I hope.
But this is the Mo, this is the
there
problem with
no,
players that people tell me can do a job. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. We have not reached the
Yeah, but you spent
quarterfinal since
200 million, bro.
2009-10, bro. This manager isn't good enough, bro. He has not addressed
Why
any
he
of our
isn't good
weaknesses.
enough? Isn't good enough for what? For what?
He is not good enough to get you over the line to win major honors. He is not good enough. This manager's had numerous years to go out there and get a striker that brings you the amount of goals Aubameyang did. He chose not to get a winger, to make sure this bench is good enough. He inherited a bench that wasn't good enough. Why is my bench still looking like still stinky after 4 years? Is that acceptable? Is that good management of my squad? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. The Porto team, yeah, they had 6 players. 6 of their starting players were under 26, bro. Their whole team cost something like 250 million euros. That is the evaluation of their whole squad. We spent almost that on 2 midfielders and Havertz and Rice in the summer, bro, in midfield. And this is the crap that I see. And people say, no, we'll get past Porto. Best believe if we come up against Inter Milan with Barella and then players, we're getting cooked. Inter transition better. They've got better forwards, better attackers, better players, better defenders. This is the problem. And then they're saying, oh, but Bayern Munich isn't the same.
But you keep going to the Champions League. Forget the Arsenal fan base about the Champions League.
But we never addressed that gap. We were top of the league, 93%. We have not addressed the 7% that we went short. A striker. When Saliba got injured, another centre-back of quality that can fill in. You spoke about the quality that Man City have as a centre-backs.
Yes.
The bench. All 3 things have not been addressed. And that is why when Arsenal fans are saying, oh, we've got the fatigue. Oh, but it's the fluidity. We had fluidity last season. Filo da puta. It meant nothing. Fluidity with the same team, you'll still get the same problems. What are we talking about here? We do not have a game changer. And this is the problem. When man are making 11s with Real Madrid, and like, shut up, man. Shut up. These players, yeah, our front 3 are predictable. Saka, if he can't link up with Odegaard, will not take on his man. If he can't take on the fullback at Porto, that arrests my case. Trossard isn't a striker, so I expected him to be stinky. We shouldn't even have Trossard playing through the middle. We should have already got a striker. Then you look at Martinelli, run down the channel. As long as you put 2 man on him like Porto did and rough him up, he ain't doing nothing. He's doing nothing. We are predictable. We've got Odegaard that's supposed to be the captain, that every time he's getting barged off the ball, Nico making
but you were predictable last 5 games.
He doesn't want to be involved.
Mo, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And hi everyone. Martin, Man City fan. Have you ever seen your team have a bad game?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot the Arsenal fan's name. Have you ever seen Arsenal have a bad game? Reese. Reese. You've seen Arsenal have bad games, right?
Oh, god damn. Yeah, I've been supporting us for a long time. Yeah.
Right. Mo, you've seen Inter have bad games, haven't you?
Plenty.
Exactly. That's what happens. This is football. The idea that why do we overreact when you see one bad game? Like one bad game doesn't make a season. And this is the problem sometimes. We have people or we have situations where people just take one situation, extrapolate and say, well, this is why I mean that something is wrong. Let's see the next game. Let's see how it pans out. You can either lose another game or your team turns it around. And this idea of, okay, players are playing too many games. I mean, I think it's the most asinine argument that happens. I'm going to tell you why. And I want to say a few players, and some people are going to overreact, but please just listen. When Messi came into Barcelona, how many games was he playing the season? Pretty much all of them.
A lot,
pretty much every single game. I looked at it. Actually, apart from when he had the injury, he played every single game, apart from one game where he started on the bench and he came on. Right? Ronaldo played every single game for Man United from the moment he became the player he became till Juventus, Real Madrid. Even now, he's still playing. He still plays every single game. Right? And Man City, you have guys like Haaland who Pep will never drop, or KDB. KDB maybe sometimes when Pep is being a little bit, bit of a genius, right? You go to every single big club that has players. They play the players regardless of whether it's Champions League or Premier League. You don't get many teams where actually they have a second team. It's a myth where there's a second team you play in a European competition that's different to the main competition you're playing with. Most of the time, 95% of the time, is the same players they're playing. So these are allowed to have a bad game. It happens. Sometimes you're going to. Real Madrid went to Leipzig, and Leipzig actually took it to Real Madrid. We're not going to say that Real Madrid, like Leipzig, are as good as Real Madrid, are we? We're going to say actually Real Madrid had a bad game, but they were able to get away with the goal that gave them the victory. The difference is that Arsenal had a bad game and we lost. Do what you do? You sweep that on the carpet and you go, right, next time we turn it around. And if we don't turn it around, then we're not good enough. But overreaction. This is the reaction sometimes. Overreaction. The thing that we have to prove that we know this and we can predict this and we can predict that. For me, that's just nonsense because I don't know if you're old enough to watch football from the likes of the Invincibles at Arsenal when Arsenal were actually really, really good. Apart from the Invincibles, did we lose games?
No, hold on. It's good that you touched on it. Was the level from the bench to the main team as big as
Luchny?
Hold on. This is the problem, yeah? People say,
he's answering you. He's giving you the answer.
I'm giving you the answer. The problem here is this, yeah? It is the level that we dropped. It's the level that we dropped from the bench to the starting lineup. The level when we had the Invincible, when you're looking at Edu coming in for someone like Patrick Vieira, it's not the same drop from Declan Rice and Partey to El Nene, bro. This is the problem. And we celebrate when we strengthen in that area. No one's complaining that we've got Martinelli that plays on the left and you've got Trossard, two players that can fight for the starting position. You're telling me I've seen football long enough. Yes, I have. And you know what I've seen for 20 years? Every time we needed to replace Patrick Vieira, we didn't. We came up short. We didn't win the major honor. Every time we needed to replace Henry, we didn't. We came up short. 20 years, I'm getting the bare minimum. This manager's spending money on players like Trusty, Runnison, Willian, players like Tavares, Lokonga, Fabi Vieira. All these players are either loaned out, sold, or on loan or on the bench and can't get a game, even when we're 1-0 down to Porto. That is unacceptable. And this club has a history in the last 20 years of doing the bare minimum. And when you're spending the money that we're spending, it's not acceptable. Because I'll tell you what, another club, there's another club that is run self-sustained like Arsenal, and they had no problem with less money spent. Hold on, with less money spent than Arsenal, than this manager right now. Klopp, with over 500 million pounds, was able to deliver a Champions League and a Premier League with a self-sustaining system. This manager's on 640 and we're still yet to win a major honor. Don't tell me that it's unreasonable for me to be demanding success when Liverpool's done it with a self-sustaining model.
Okay, let's have a conversation. First of all, do you remember these players? Luis Boamorte, Christopher Ray, Jules Grimondi, Oles Luchny. Do you remember these players? Would they that much was Jules Grimondi anywhere near the level of Patrick Vieira? No, he wasn't. So the reality is that teams are made up of players who are good and some are not that good. That's
we
why
have that all round every position.
Managers take a gamble on players, and some players work and some players don't work. And when you talk about Liverpool and what Liverpool did, you can go for Liverpool. They have bought some players who they've had to get rid of as well. And also, you also have to extrapolate for the fact that what they pay for those players then is not what they'll be paying for them now. There's something called inflation. So the prices, when you say we pay 700 million, even take what Liverpool paid back then and extrapolate it for inflation, which anyone who does economics can do, you actually find it's actually quite similar, right? And also, 7 years ago is not the same situation that we have right now. I think sometimes let's not just be simple about the way we look at these things, right? Listen, if Arteta fails, he fails. If he gets changed, he gets changed. I don't care. I'm not bought into someone. He's not my dad. I don't give two craps about it. But the reality is that if you're going to look at something and analyze something properly, let's not be disingenuous. Let's just not go off one agenda and then try to use that agenda just to not look at it objectively. And that's why I say, if you're going to talk about the squad, if you're going to talk about, wait, I'm going to finish and I'll let you go. If you talk about the squad and talk about how bad the squad is right now, then let's go through every single squad and see for all the title winning teams and even Real Madrid were. Remember they said they had the Galacticos and the Pavons. I always bring that up because there was a time when they had great players mixed in with players from like that. No one was. They had bloody what's his name, Gravison, for example. They bought Gravison. I remember these things. So let's not pretend like this team don't buy players who are not at that level. It happens. There's no point overreacting about it.
Okay, can I reply to that? You made a comparison between the understudy of Patrick Vieira. This is our understudies in every position. For the striker, we've got Nketiah. For the right winger, we got Reece Nelson. Yeah. For the DM, we've got El Nene. For a fullback, we got Cedric. Then we got Jorginho in the middle. This is in multiple positions. The whole bench isn't good enough. Your own manager that's created this system and this club and this squad does not trust them in a knockout Champions League game. He's only bringing them on when the game is finished to see out the last remainders of the game. So that shows you everything that he thinks about this. People told me, give this manager time. He's had time. He's been backed when he wanted Aubameyang gone. He's backed when he wanted Ozil. He was backed even up till this point. Give it 4 years because of Klopp. He was even backed in Havertz instead of going and buying a striker. He got Raya and he got Havertz. He has built this. He's built this team, and when you built the team and you got time and money, there is expectation. This is the sport of football, and to me, there's too many things that have not been addressed, and we're looking over it. Oh, we'll see if we're not good enough. The reason I can tell you we're not good enough is because we're repeating what we had last season, and we're in an extra competition. Last season we could focus on the Premier League. Now we got the Champions League, and like everyone has said, we are playing the same starting 11 against Newcastle. Then in the next game, then again we're going to be playing them against Porto. We have seen. Yeah?
By the time doing that,
the problem is the planning.
No, that's wrong. No, you're wrong. You're wrong, Golo. I'm sorry. I wanted to respond to you, but you're wrong, Golo. I'm going to tell you why. I'll tell you the difference. Even though teams might start the same thing, the same team, they sub them 45 minutes, 50 minutes. You have enough people. You have enough people to come off the bench and change the game if it's not working. Also, not a lot of teams play the same team Wednesday and Saturday. That doesn't happen all of them. Inter, they rotate players in the minute 60 in the league, even if we're drawing games because we have a Champions League game. Man City do the same. Man City will tell you that last season, people think that the same team played every game. But he used to make subs in minute 60, especially if he had a Real Madrid game. People didn't think that Riyad Mahrez got a lot of minutes at the end of the season off the bench when they had a Champions League game the week after. There is a lot of changes that happened. There was Akanji. There was Kyle Walker that used to play in the Champions League, not in the league. There was this, there was that. The problem with Arsenal, though, the problem with Arsenal at the moment is that we went through the team literally on Saturday. For you to at least guarantee the points, you'll have to start the same exact 11.
Yep.
Bar Kai Havertz. You have no other option. And let me just let me finish the last point, because the next point is key to what I'm saying, and people hear me out. If the game is 0-0 in minute 70, I know for a fact that your starting 11 on the pitch are the only ones that can win you the game. He doesn't have anybody off the bench to change that.
So before Reece goes, let me just say one thing very quickly, right? Actually, the game before at Burnley, he actually took off a whole bunch of players at the 70th minute. So what you're talking about in terms of actually rotating players, he took a whole bunch of players off. So actually, in the game,
in Burnley, because he was winning. Because he was winning.
That's the point I'm making.
But that's more likely than not, you won't be winning 5-0 against Newcastle.
Even if it's
we're being logical here.
It doesn't need to be 5-0 though.
Doesn't have to be 5. Even if it's 3-0, he will still make the changes because at that point he thinks he believes the game is won, right?
So you think you would be 3-0 against Newcastle in minute 60?
I said if. I didn't say
you
that.
Think so? Do you think?
Can I give you an example of that? Does anyone remember the City versus Leicester game last season at the Etihad? People might not remember it. City were 3-0 up, 3-1 up. And he made 3 changes all at the same time. And he brought on Sergio Gomez, Calvin Phillips, and I can't remember who the other one was.
Yeah, somebody else off the bench.
And Leicester nearly drew the game. And he made the change on the 60th minute, and we all went, why? Why'd you do that? And we nearly drew the game. I remember sitting there panicking in the fan and going, what has happened here? Because he was managing the games out to get to the Champions League. Because that's the only way you win trebles or win doubles or win multiple competitions. The problem is, and this is what I said, Northside, you'll remember this. I think last time we were on, said it's the squad issue with Arsenal. They're doing brilliant at the moment in the league, but it's when you get to that Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday, and you're getting to when you're having to fly to Madrid, mentally prepare, come back, then turn around and get ready again to play. Because suddenly, by the way, if you played Real Madrid midweek and you're playing Nottingham Forest, I know you've done them twice, but at the weekend, that Nottingham Forest game totally changes and can be a harder game because your head's either still in Madrid or you're thinking about the next leg in Madrid.
Yeah.
Just on this.
Let me do the super chat. So to respect the people, Enigma saying this guy get lost and now is happy like I don't know who. The Filiputa crap talk is boring now. Arsenal was playing conservative with eyes on Newcastle. I don't think so. I completely disagree. I don't think any Arsenal fan was saying that you're playing a Champions League game for the first time, knockout stages in 7 years, and you're thinking about something else.
But
I don't
also,
think
let's.
so.
But do you think the game? Do you think the game was going to finish 0-0 until a mistake was made? Like it felt like it was going to be peter out until one mistake was made. So
yeah, but
reality,
you played like crap. I'm sorry.
That's what I said. Bad game. So teams have bad games. Like I don't understand why.
I'm not.
Like,
I'm just
people
gonna
overreact
say.
over.
It's not overreacting. What is this manager's
I need to
solution?
read this. I need to read this. Scene is saying M.A. I don't know who's that.
Mikel Arteta.
Mikel Arteta rotated regularly prior to major injuries. Yeah, he doesn't have enough people, so you have 2 major injuries. But that's the thing.
Just
Okay,
on
so
that.
why did they say that we need to address the bench? Because every issue that I've brought up, they've just said it's just because we're winning games, sweep it under the carpet. Everybody was saying that we need to address the bench. They wanted to sell the bench to strengthen the fact that we ain't got a striker. The problem is, people are saying, "Oh, you're overreacting." No, it's not, bro. What annoys me is this fan base never see what the actual issue is. They always want to hide. They'll bring it up when it's the season's done, and it's because we didn't have a bench, because we didn't have a striker. We could already tell that this is not good enough. What is our solution? What is the solution from this manager that you've seen that how we're going to break down low blocks? Because I've been calling that out for time, but because I was winning games, no one wants to hear it. What's the solution? Because I don't see it. I do not see the solution to breaking down low blocks. And you think
The solution
towards
is
the end of the season, we're not going to be facing more low blocks?
Yeah.
Play
the
Jorginho
solution?
in midfield.
The solution is
About
win
low
your
blocks
game.
after the game. We've had it all season.
Win your games. That's it. Whatever you do,
Low blocks.
whatever you
We've
set
had
up,
low
go
blocks
and
every
win your
game.
game. I don't care about being tactical, all this stuff. That's not for me. That's for him to figure out. Right? Whether it's corner kicks, whether it's free kicks, whatever it is, win your game.
But that's
win
where
your
your
game.
individual brilliance comes in. So Brentford, totally low blocked up. And the trouble is, and what you got to do in a low block situation
is
when
have
you
the
get
luck
those-
of someone slipping.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yes, but then you also need the finishing of Erling Haaland to also do that, Mo. So you know what I mean. Top goal scorer in the league, even when he's had 2 months off. No, but the thing is, it's that moment. So when you're put against a low block, that's when you need your Sakas, your Odegaards, your Martinellis to bring because. Listen, a team like Brentford, for example, will sit there and be stubborn bastards for 90 minutes and not care. Newcastle will do it on Saturday. They will come and park 3 buses up and go like they did last season. I remember last season, Newcastle did exactly the same. All your fans came out going mental, and Newcastle went, cheers. And they were loving it because they were like, we did exactly what we were meant to do.
Yeah.
Cooler here is saying Northside prediction for tomorrow. Prediction Northside.
A draw.
A draw. Predictions, everyone, for tomorrow. And I want predictions. Let's
Newcastle, Arsenal win 2-0.
3-1 Arsenal for me. Olu?
3-0.
I'm going 2-1.
Copium. This is Olu.
Mo, you listen, you know me.
Copium.
You know my face. I don't care whether you play, go and win your games. I just think that Arsenal,
which is fine, but 3-0 against Newcastle after a Champions League game where you're expected to stay the side. I think you're against the logic here, but fine. It's what it is.
Let me give two reasons. One, the get back for the game at St James's Park, and two, I think Arsenal will start very quickly. And I think that if they start very quickly, Newcastle will get something.
Listen, people, this was absolutely a brilliant show. It's your Friday show. Today, turn on the notification bell because today at 9, we'll have the Chelsea preview with Nina, Don, Jamie Phillips, Rack, and Mohamed Salah. I think we'll have a brilliant show at night. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Northside channel is in the description. Brilliant content daily there. You have to check it out. Of course, Martin the Mancunian way, one of the guys, absolutely fantastic Man City channel, of course. Go give them a subscription. It's simple, it's easy, it doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps the channel massively. I appreciate you guys all. Thank you so much for joining us here. Appreciate you people. And we'll see you guys soon. And we are out of here.